Chris, let's talk fatal mistake number 4, which is all about, and you've alluded to this one earlier, but fatal mistake number 4 is about neglecting to proactively being the key word, manage the cost base of the business. And you mentioned earlier about, this should be something that you are doing a minimum on a quarterly basis. What I tend to find is most people delve into the cost base when they're in the shit, and they suddenly realize they've got no cash in the bank, they're not making any money, they've not got enough money to pay the salaries, and suddenly they go, we need to cut our costs. Well, that's too late, isn't it?
I think you say in the report, no business can grow by just cutting costs, right?
Yeah.
You don't. You can't cut your way to business growth. I think the responsibility is to work out where you are spending your money line by line by line. And if you're a bigger business and you say, Chris, that's not realistic, okay, let's do it by category. But what you should be doing is setting up your systems to actually tell you where you spend more or less on a month-by-month basis.
Yeah.
And it should tell you. And if you want to put in a control that says, I will look at variances of more than 10%, that's up to you. I did a piece of work with a client whose travel bill had gone through the roof. And I asked a simple question, do you use Train Split? And they looked at me like, what's Train Split? I said, well, actually, what Train Split is a website. And as a result of that, they look for the most effective way of your travel. And actually, more often than not, there's a 17% on average saving, of which they take 2% and you get 15%. And as a result of that, suddenly, that the difference between data and insight, we actually started using Train Split. Other firms are available, of course. And as a result of that, the travel bill went down. So when I talk about how do you grow revenue by 3.3%, how do you cut costs by 3%, 3.3%, how do you increase productivity, get better by 3.3%? Actually, I've done about 5 years worth through one area, and that was travel. It was petrol. It was looking at different ways of where you spend your money, looking at the different suppliers, asking your supplier every year to sit there and say, I want a renew quote, and I am looking for you to save 5%.
Yeah.
The answer to every question you don't ask is no. So as a business owner, ask it. And if it's no, that's all right. But you know what? More often than not, you get a yes or you get a deal done, which is better than if you'd have said nothing and just paid the money up.
And your point's absolutely right. There's no golden bullet to business growth. If you are really smart in creating profitable revenue growth, that you're managing your cash effectively and the oxygen is feeding the business. And then you're also regularly reviewing your cost base and you're on top of that. And I'm with you, line by line, the mobile phone that you've got stuffed in a drawer, the web app that you've got plugged into your website that you've not used and you're paying $75 for, all those small incremental costs, when you add them up and look at the multiplier effect of that over 12 months, you can take 5, 10,000, 20,000 more. I tend to find 10% saving in our clients just by going through line by line. And that is not affecting their ability to do business. It's just purely excessive spend that they are doing because they're not smart in how they're running the cost base. And I think that's where we start when we go with clients and go, let's get your cost base under control, line by line review, get it efficient. And then moving forward, every bi-monthly or quarterly, you do the same exercise religiously.
I work in sport, as you know, and there's a great concept called marginal gains in sport. So instead of looking for one thing that you can do 100% better, I always ask a business, what are the 100 things you could do 1% better?
Yeah.
Right? And some order magazines that no one ever reads, but they'll happily pay the subscription. And I'm sitting there going, but nobody reads a magazine. Or you still have newspapers delivered, and clients have stopped coming into your office years ago because they do it by Zoom or but nobody reads newspapers. And it's those, what are the 100 things you could do 1% better? Everybody. And don't you just think of that as the business owner. Ask your team to write down the 100 things they would do to make the business 1% better, whether that's revenue, whether that's cost, whether that is productivity, whether that's automation. What are the things we should just stop doing because they're dumb?
And it's a classic, isn't it? That's the way we've always done it. So I'll share a really simple example, which I think demonstrates this point. I had a wealth advisory business. Every time they took on a new client, they would send out all the pack at the start of the relationship. And honestly, it got to be in a telephone directory that was about this thick. And I said to them, "Do you ever ask your clients whether they want stuff through the post or whether they're happy to have it electronically? Because actually, I don't want paper. I want to be a paperless individual because environmentally, I just hate paper. Everything electronic for me." And I went, "How much does it cost to put that together and send it out?" And they worked out it's nearly 250 quid a pack by the time people had photocopied it, printed it, sent it out by post, recorded delivery, the whole thing. And I went, "How much is that going to save you?" £9,500 a year has saved them just by actually sending everything electronically. And it's sometimes you've just got to interrogate, be curious, be inquisitive, and be brutal in thinking about, are we being smart? Are we being productive in what we're doing? Or are we being busy and are we falling into the trap that that's the way that we've always done it?
Absolutely. And you said it earlier, the definition of insanity is doing the same old thing over and over again and hoping for better results. And again, in your report, yeah, you're very clear. Hope is not a plan. It never has
Yeah.
been, never will be. So actually, it's about what action you're going to take. And what a great point there. I said earlier, ask your customers. Ask your customers, is the way I do business with you the way you want it? I am like you. I do not like paper. I store it electronically. I have immediate access to it. I'm not looking for it in the garage or in the loft or anywhere else. I have a folder electronically that says I know where it is. And therefore, if you send me an electronic version, I will download it and save it. Thank you. That saves you money and it saved me time and it saved me bother. And the good news is that's another one of those win-wins that I think the very best businesses look to achieve.